Hello and welcome to Galaxy Primetime News. My name is Nanwaran Gimasaka. I'll begin with the headlines. President Bola Tinubu signs into law a bill establishing the North Central Development Commission (NCDC). The Nigerian Senate reshuffled some of its standing committees during plenary. On foreign scene, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu set to become the first foreign leader to meet President Donald Trump at the White House in his second term at a critical juncture for the Gaza ceasefire. Details of these will come to you shortly. Do stay with us. We're glad to have you back. The Federal Executive Council has ratified the African Medicine Agency Treaty, which was initially brought to life by the African Union heads of state and government at the 32nd meeting in Addis Ababa in February 2010, while also ordering the Debt Management Office to raise a federal government bond of about 758 billion naira to clear up the backlogs of pension liabilities owed various categories of pensioners. Correspondent Nabuchi Nabuchi sent in this report.
The African Medicine Agency Treaty so far are 37 member states in the African Union already signed to the treaty and 26 have ratified it. Minister of Health and Social Welfare Professor Ali Pate, who entered these while briefing State House correspondents after the FEC meeting, said the treaty is to enhance the capacity of all state parties and improve the regulatory capacities regarding medical products, access to safe quality medical products and use of common standards.
The import of this is, as we move in this direction, what we produce as part of our value chain expansion will have a much wider market. So we're expanding the market for potentially products that can be manufactured here. Just as other African countries, what they manufacture, we can also trade with them. As you know, we have a large population. We're working hard to industrialize medically and will produce. But what we produce will have access to these common standards, essentially making what is made in Nigeria potentially, over time, made in Africa.
Still in the health sector, FEC also approved 6 contracts for major diagnostic equipment, namely 3 MRI equipment and 2 CT scan equipment in some federal university teaching hospitals across the country at the cost of 12 billion naira. Meanwhile, the Federal Executive Council has ordered the Debt Management Office to raise a federal government bond of about 7 billion naira to clear up the backlog of pension liabilities owed various categories of pensioners. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Wale Edun, announced this while briefing the media after the FEC Council meeting. This is to assist pensioners who are owed funds under the defined benefit system that preceded the contributory pension scheme that came into force in 2004 and was updated with the new act in 2014.
Some accrued liabilities which were building up over time. So, for example, someone who was on a defined benefit scheme yet to retire would need a top-up of their contributions or the amount due to them every time that there was a wage increase, every 5 years or so. So these liabilities are built up to a point where it was not going to be easy to pay them down on an ongoing basis.
The minister further revealed that FEC has ratified and approved a €30 million long-term concessional financing by French Development Agency, which is supporting student housing in conjunction with Family Homes Fund Limited as a partner and implementer. This is for the provision of sustainable and clean energy-based accommodation projects for tertiary students throughout the country.
President Bola Tinubu has officially signed into law the bill establishing the North Central Development Commission (NCDC). This significant development was announced by the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, during a session in the Senate chamber on Tuesday. Senator Fabio highlighted the Commission's role in promoting equitable development nationwide.
Has also assented to the North Central Development Commission Establishment Bill 2024 in order to bring development to the grassroots. And for this, we congratulate the good people of the North Central region of Nigeria. And then we wish them more development, particularly peace, as we forge ahead in the task of nation building.
The NCDC is designed to promote equitable development across the north-central region of Nigeria, which includes states such as Kogi, Niger, Benue, Kwara, Plateau, Nasarawa, and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Senate President also disclosed that Tinubu has signed the bills establishing a federal polytechnic in Rano, Kano State, and a Federal University of Health Sciences in Safe, Zamfara State. The Nigerian Senate on Tuesday reshuffled some of its standing committees during plenary. Resuming after a 2-week break, the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, appointed chairman to oversee the new development commissions recently got President Bola Tinubu's assent. Correspondent Kulu Ojo reports Akpabio named Senator Orji Uzokalu as chairman, Senate Committee on Southeast Development Commission, Title ZAM, North Central Development Commission, and Husseini Babangida Northwest Development Commission.
Of the signing into a Parliament of the Southeast Development Commission, the Senate Committee has been constituted, and the chairman will be distinguished Senator Orji Uzokalu, a veteran developer from the Southeast, and the deputy will be distinguished Senator Engineer Kenneth Eze.
Also reshuffling some of the standing committees, Akpabio appointed Abdul Ningi as chairman, Senate Committee on FEMA, Natasha Akputi Udogan as Diaspora and Non-Developmental Organization, and Jewel Onwokpo Local Content. In a moment of solidarity, the Senate observed a minute of silence in honor of former Deputy Majority Whip Honorable Oriomi Ononuga, who passed away on January 15, with Akpabio leading a tribute before adjourning the plenary.
Honorable Adewumi Ononuga, at the very tender age of 59, is a great loss, not just to the National Assembly as a whole, not just to our family, our constituency, our state, but to the whole of Nigeria. In my personal interactions with her, she was full of smiles, a very hardworking woman, a woman that would sit with men and have political meetings even late into the night.
The Senate Committee on Public Accounts, chaired by Senator Wadada Liu, has described the less than 1 contribution of solid minerals to Nigeria's GDP as ridiculous and unacceptable. The committee called for a complete overhaul of the sector to unlock its potential for national economic growth. Correspondent Kilojo report that this position was made known during a session in Abuja, where the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NEITI) presented its 2021 to 2023 report on oil, gas, and solid minerals. NEITI Executive Secretary Dr. Orji Ogunaya Orji revealed that Nigeria requires an injection of $200 billion into gas infrastructure to fully maximize its natural gas resources, positioning itself as the 9th highest gas producer globally and the top producer in Africa.
Our gas infrastructure, gas deposits are untouched, dormant. To use gas just as what sustains Qatar alone is gas. They are the largest producer in the world. The only thing that Qatar Energy does is gas, processing of gas. So, in Nigeria, what we need is to invest in gas infrastructure to evacuate gas. And our study shows that we need an initial investment of $20 billion annually for 10 years.
The committee expressed dissatisfaction with any ITI's reports which prominently highlighted states like Ogun, Osun, Kogi, Edo, Ebonyi, Rivers, Cross River, and the FCT. Senator Aliu and other members criticized the exclusion of states such as Nasarawa, Zamfara, Kebbi, Plateau, and Bauchi, which are also key players in the solid mineral sector.
I think it is extremely important that I add this. This we're talking about here can constitute security threat to the existence of our polity. And why am I saying this? You can imagine citizens from these states that have been mentioned, Zamfara, Kebbi, Nasarawa, Benue, Bauchi, Gombe, and the rest, that know the volume of exploration of solid mineral resources that happen within these states that I have mentioned, and hearing this is all that government, all that is remitted to government. It's extremely serious.
The Senate has announced Senator Audrey Uzokalu, APC, Abia North, as the substantive pioneer chairman of the newly created Southeast Development Commission, one of the regional development commissions signed into law by President Bola Tinubu. Prior to this new appointment, which was made by Senate President Godswill Akpabio during today's plenary, the former Abia governor chaired the Senate Committee on Privatization. Senator Ken Eze Ebonyi Central was also appointed as the vice chairman of the committee. Akpabio also noted that other members of the committee will be announced in due course. With this development, Kalu, who also chaired the screening ad hoc committee on regional development commissions of the Northwest and Southeast, is expected to lead other members of the committee to conduct oversight of the Southeast Development Commission to achieve its laid down objectives. Also recall that the Senate confirmed the board membership of the SEDC after considering the report of Senator Kalu. You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News, and coming up next. A new Nigeria Special Offences Court discharges and acquits the former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode, of the charge of medical forgery leveled against him by the EFCC. These are more we come to shortly. Just stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect to us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTVNews. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Remember to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live update and comment, as you can easily scan our IG QR code. The federal government has described tolling operations as means of creating efficient, self-sustaining and effective transport system in Nigeria. The Minister of State for Works, Bello Mohammed Goronyo, made the disclosure at the flag-off of the tolling of Uja-Akwanga Lafia Makurdi Expressway. Correspondent Kilujo completes the story.
The Nigerian Federal Road Network is approximately 35,000 kilometers in length, much of which needs development and management. Therefore, the Abuja, Kefi, Akwanga, Lafia, Makurdi Expressway is the first among the 9 corridors being concessioned by the Highways Development Management Initiative. Speaking at the flag-off of the project in Nasarawa State, the Minister of State for Work, Mohammed Bello Goronyo, said tolling operation is a pivotal step towards the realization of the vision of a more efficient, sustainable, and well-maintained road transport system in Nigeria.
This is the first among the 9 corridors being concessioned under the Highways Development and Management Initiative Phase 1 to commence operations. In the coming months, the federal government will continue with the launching and operationalization of the remaining ones located across the 6 geopolitical zones of this country. This initiative has opened a new chapter in the history of Nigeria as it gives the federal government the opportunity to overcome bad roads.
The Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, represented at the event by Senator Anthony Ani and other speakers, lauded the initiative by the federal government, stressing that it will not only enhance socio-economic development, but ensure revenue for the maintenance of the infrastructure. They therefore enjoin all Nigerians to key into the tolling initiative of the federal government for economic growth and infrastructural development in Nigeria.
The 227.2 kilometer Abuja-Kefi-Akwanga Lafia Makurdi Federal Highway is not just a stretch of road. It is a conduit of prosperity, a bridge between communities, and a lifeline of national unity. We owe a debt of gratitude to His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, whose leadership has not wavered in the face of difficulty, whose hands remain steady upon the tiller of the state, steering us through stormy waters with wisdom and resolve.
Basic means of transport we have in Nigeria is our roads. That is why it appears our roads appear stressed, appear extremely stressed, and the traffic volume increases on daily basis. The housing load increases, so we have no choice than to start tolling this road to generate sufficient revenue for effective road maintenance and as well as the efficiency of these road pavements.
Bringing it up now and here is therefore not strange and should not be strange to us. But I only want to say that we need to do more education. We need to encourage the people. We need to get the buy-in of the people, because the effects of this is multiple. Security is guaranteed. Our vehicles will last longer. Accidents will be less. The economy will develop.
High point of the occasion was the commissioning of the toll gates by the Minister of State for Works and other dignitaries at the event. From Nasarawa State, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
The Minister of Women Affairs, Hajia Iman Sulaiman Ibrahim, has joined the global community to commemorate with World Cancer Day, assuring patients that they are not alone in the struggle to recuperate, as she also praised the resilience of those who have survived the scourge. The theme of World Cancer Day 2025 is United by Unique, highlights the value of individualized patient-centered care in the fight against cancer. The theme also highlights the importance of personalizing treatment to each patient's unique needs. In a statement signed by her special advisor on media and publicity, Jonathan Eze, on Tuesday, the minister pledged solidarity with women and families affected by cancer and reaffirmed her commitment to supporting their fight against this devastating disease. Meanwhile, as Benue State joins the rest of the world to mark 2025 Cancer Day, stakeholders are calling for increased awareness on the disease prevalence and its dangers, emphasizing on early diagnosis and treatment of the disease, mostly common among women and young girls, which are curable. At a road rally organized across Makurdi Metropolis by the Medical Women Association of Nigeria, MVC Foundation, in collaboration with other partners aimed at raising sensitization on the consciousness of breast cancer, colorectal cancer, cervical and prostate cancer, among other diseases. The group also offered the women and young girls free screening and test of hepatitis B and C and human papillomavirus (HPV) to support them. The President's Medical Women Association of Benue State, Dr. Patience, the founder MCV Foundation, Joseph Vakar, and the program manager all expressed worries that the people in the community villages are not aware of cancer, which has become deadly. Hence, they are increasing the sensitization on the signs and symptoms of cancer.
Cancer has caused cannot be emphasized. Women, which we are concerned about, the commonest cancers we find is breast cancer. Second to breast cancer is cervical cancer. It's prevalent. A lot of women come in advanced stages of these cancers. They tend to delay, and we all know that prevention is better than cure.
I founded this organization to educate people about cancer and increase public awareness about cancer. Because our people don't know much about cancer and we need to help them. Awareness is key. We target people at the hard-to-reach areas. These are the people that need this information. Target more of these people from the hard-to-reach communities.
We are out to create awareness on cancer and also offer free hepatitis B and C testing and also colorectal cancer screening. I will have a partner. The Medical Women Association and primary healthcare body are giving free HPV, that is human papillomavirus, to prevent against cervical cancer.
In the wake of the resurgence of the deadly disease Ebola, the federal government has been urged to establish quarantine stations at all borders and airports in the country in order to prevent the re-entry of the Ebola virus into Nigeria. The measure became necessary since the resurgence of the deadly virus in the Republic of Uganda. Correspondent Oke Nabuchi takes a look at the resurgence of the virus, which was chased away from the country a few years ago. The report.
At a time when the country is grappling with plans on how to manage the existing and ravaging ailments such as HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis and other dangerous diseases in the wake of U.S. withdrawal from the World Health Organization, Africa is faced with the resurgence of Ebola, a disease that was brought to Nigeria by an index patient, Patrick Sawyer, which potentially exposed 72 persons at the airport and the hospital to danger. In all, 20 cases were recorded in Nigeria between July and September 2014, with 8 deaths and a case fatality ratio of 40%, a figure that was higher than that of Sierra Leone, but lower than Liberia and Guinea at that time. The resurgence of the deadly disease, as reported by the Ugandan health officials on Thursday last week, calls for worry. The officials had confirmed the case of Ebola in the capital Kampala in a nurse who sought care at a number of facilities before it was known he was suffering from the disease. This is the country's 7th Ebola outbreak, although no one else at the hospital, healthcare workers or patients, has yet shown signs of the deadly disease. Everyone, especially Nigerians, are concerned that Ebola may be imported again into the country if necessary measures are not taken. They want the government to take immediate action to contain the outbreak should it be brought to the country.
Government, we have our entry points into the country. Some fly by air, some come by sea, and the other illegal means. The government has to put measures in our areas to make sure that there are health facilities to be able to check anybody coming in or living in the country.
Put in place so that any incoming person to the country, make sure that he will be thoroughly checked. By so doing, I think government by its own side will definitely contribute immensely to the spread of Ebola. And at the same time, all the airports and other designated, entry points has to be thoroughly checked. And by so doing too, I think progress will be made.
For now, since it has not gotten to Nigeria, I think government should ensure that they take proper, care of our border. So there should not be, unnecessary inflow of people from other countries. They should make sure they do thorough checking, and possibly, I don't know if there is vaccine for Ebola. If there is, they should make sure that anybody that will be coming into this country should provide evidence that such person has been vaccinated against this Ebola.
Others want the legislature to enact laws requiring thorough testing and the presentation of verified and accurate health results for anyone entering the country, and for citizens to be mindful of their personal hygiene. Report such cases as neighbors displaying unusual symptoms of illnesses to relevant authorities.
They have to take care of their personal hygiene and they take care of their environment. Check your neighbors, how they are living their life, their personal hygiene as well. So you take precautionary measures so that you will not be able to get unnecessary infections and they maybe transmit to other people.
It's not something that is new. We've been through it some years back and we saw what we all went through. So I guess it's not only the government alone. Even we as individuals, as human beings, we need to bring back what is important by first seeing that we wash our hands regularly with soap and water and make sure our environment is clean. For Ebola to come back, that means there's a problem.
Well, with the Federal Executive Council FEC approval of a total of $1.07 billion in financing for healthcare sector reforms under the Human Capital Opportunities for Prosperity and Equality program, as well as $4.8 billion allocation for HIV treatment, signaling a major investment in Nigeria's health sector, containing the expected scourge will not be a far cry. Nigerians just need to support the government by reporting suspected cases in the neighborhood. That way, the impact may not be much.
An Ikeja Special Offences Court on Tuesday discharged and acquitted the former Minister of Aviation, Femi Fani-Kayode, of the charge of medical forgery leveled against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The FCC held on November 11, 2021, charged Fani-Kayode on the 12-count charge of procuring and execution of documents by false pretenses, use of false documents, fabrication of evidence, and use of fabricated evidence. Justice Olubunmi Abike Fadipe, while delivering ruling on the no case submission filed by Fani-Kayode's counsel, Wale Balogun-San, held that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case against the defendant. Abike Fadipe said the prosecution failed to establish a link between the defendant and the offence charged. As a matter of fact, to enable the court to determine whether or not the prosecution has established a prima facie case against him, the judge consequently discharged and acquitted the defendant of the alleged offences.
From this particular matter, on January the 15th, again, we were discharged and acquitted by Justice So of the Federal High Court for another criminal case, which went on for 8 years, 2016. Before that time, I was discharged and acquitted of yet another criminal case in 2016 by Justice Ophelia Jomagobia. And of course, on the 15th of January, Justice Soho, I was acquitted of yet another criminal case. And there was another one that we won on Court of Appeal, at the Court of Appeal. So 4 criminal cases by the EFCC in the space of the last 18 years has been quite an ordeal for me.
Financial crime is an issue which Supreme Court has decided upon, And this is what we brought to the attention of my Lord. And my Lord agreed, as she's bound to do, with the Supreme Court with respect to the economic and what constitutes economic and financial crime. He has been charged in this court for what they call to be, what they said to be forgery of medical reports. Now the question that we raised before the court is that alleged forgery of medical report is not an economic crime, it's not a financial crime, and the court agreed with us.
The High Court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos has ordered the interim forfeiture for digital wallet assets valued at $222,729 allegedly linked to a syndicate of cryptocurrency investment and romance fraudsters. This was disclosed on Tuesday by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission in a post on X, formerly Twitter. He noted that Justice A. Owaye issued the order on Monday following an ex parte application filed by the anti-graft agency through its counsel, Zenat Atiku. The post also stated that the digital wallet assets were recovered from an alleged syndicate of 792 cryptocurrency investment and romance fraudsters were arrested on December 10, 2024 by operatives of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, during a surprise operation at 7 Oyin Jolayemi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos. The suspects are alleged to be part of an international fraud syndicate involved in large-scale cryptocurrency investment scams and romance fraud. An Ikeja sexual offences and domestic violence court has sentenced a 30-year-old barber, Razak Akiyemi, to 9 years in prison for sexually assaulting a 13-year-old girl. Justice Raman Oshodi sentenced Akiyemi after he pleaded guilty to the amended 2-count charge of indecent treatment of a child and sexual assault. Oshodi, while delivering the judgment, held that the offences which Akiyemi had entered a plea bargain agreement with was a serious offence that had caused significant harm to the young survivor, who trusted him as a family member. He, however, said that the convict had expressed genuine remorse for his actions. The court further held that it has carefully weighed all factors, including the severity of the offence, breach of trust, guilty plea, genuine remorse, and concrete steps towards rehabilitation. Accordingly, he was sentenced to 7 years imprisonment on count 1 and 2 years on count 2. The court further ordered that the convict's name be registered in the Sexual Offences Register of Lagos State. The indefinite strike by staff of the Kaduna Electricity Distribution Company entered its second day on Tuesday, with the National Union of Electricity Employees insisting that management must withdraw the disengagement letters issued to 900 workers. Operations at the company have been paralyzed as workers protest the mass sack alongside other grievances, including non-payment of outstanding pensions to retirees, inadequate work tools, lack of promotions for deserving staff, and non-implementation of the 2024 national minimum wage. Speaking with our correspondent in Kaduna, the chairman of NUEE Kaduna State Council, Comrade Shane Wakili, clarified that the union was not against the layoffs themselves, but opposed the manner in which they were executed without settling the entitlement of the affected workers. Travelers have been abducted along the Benin-Owo-Akure Road at Ifon area of the local government area of Ondo State. The state public relations officer Fumilayo Odunlami confirmed this while speaking with our correspondent on Tuesday. Odunlami said the victims were traveling from Akwa Ibom State to the southwest before they were kidnapped by the bandits last Friday night. She said the incident happened on January 31st at about some minutes to 12 a.m. in the night. 7 travelers were involved. They were coming from Akwa Ibom State in a commercial bus. In the same vein, a source disclosed that 10 travelers were abducted along Owo-Ipele Road by the gunmen. The Delta State Commissioner for Works and Public Information, Charles Aniogo, has said that the governor is very much in in governance, despite the distractions regarding the defection of Senator Ned Nwoko. The Public Information Commissioner made this known during a media briefing in Asaba, the state capital. Correspondent Dele Fasan completes the story.
Speaking on the impact of the defection of Senator Ned Nwoko to the All Progressives Congress, the commissioner said it will not affect the fortune of the PDP come 2027.
If when you defect, we win in the area where you have defected from, the same thing will also happen in 2027. By the grace of God, we will still win and win very well in Anyota North. The good people of Anyota North are solidly behind Oborowori. They are seeing what he is doing. So if anybody left and is heading somewhere, we pray for him. So the governor is very much interested in governance. As I speak to you, he has already given us directives as to the projects to embark that we should bring up in different local governments. And I know that Anyota North is one of those. Even before I left the office, Minister of Works this morning, I was looking through one of the project file in somewhere in Anyota North.
He berated former Deputy Senate President Senator Vioma Agege for saying the Delta State Governor Sheriff Oborowori does not merit the Governor of the Year award conferred on him.
Trying to demarket the state because of personal interest, it is not in the interest of anybody, at least not in the interest of Deltans. He went through this part in 2023. Even while Oborowori has not become a governor, yet Oborowori defeated him, won in 21 out of the 25 local government areas. So I thought that the lesson of that defeat was enough for him to know the kind of criticism he could embark upon.
The commissioner calls for constructive criticism and one that will not eat up the polity. From Delta State, Dele Fasan reporting for Galactic TV News.
You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News. We'll quickly take a break and when we return, the news continues. Just stay with us. Well, glad to have you back and now to carry the rest of the stories. Governor Abakabir Yusuf of Kano State to receive the Ambassador of the Republic of Tunisia to Nigeria, His Excellency Mohsen Antit, along with a high-powered delegation of government officials and business leaders. This was contained in a statement issued by the governor's spokesperson Sanusi Bature Dawakin Tofa today. The visit, which coincides with the ongoing Tunisia-Nigeria Multi-Sectoral Economic Forum, aims to foster deeper collaboration in key sectors such as agriculture, infrastructure, culture and trade. Welcoming to the delegation at Government House Kano, Governor Yusuf reaffirmed Kano's position as a leading commercial hub in sub-Saharan Africa, emphasized the state's commitment to building mutually beneficial partnerships, describing Tunisia's engagement with Kano as a significant step towards strengthening bilateral trade, particularly in agriculture, where both regions hold immense investment potential. Rising from the shooting of over 5 persons by thugs allegedly working for an imposed community leader, youth and elders of Igubogo in Umode local government area of Edo State have called on the Oba of Benin, Oba Egware II, to come to their aid. The community youth and elders made this known while briefing journalists after the alleged invasion as a result of leadership tussle. Speaking on the incident, as some of the youth displayed their gunshot wounds, the community youth leader and an elder said they are calling on the Oba to intervene as he is their only hope.
We deter the same, maybe they leave the community. They will bring police come because we not get money. We will take the fight them. They will bring police come. They will come arrest them. The last one they do and they bring us come. They shoot my brother for belly and leg. They shoot this one for hand. They shoot one for head, and some of them sustain many injuries. So we use this opportunity to beg our Royal Majesty, make it help us call Bright of Yasogi. Not being be Okarele of Igbo, but me be Okarele when they know for Igbo. Make it leave the community for us.
We have Odio Way. The Odio Way is not here. The second mile is not here. The number 10, no one is here. If anything happen here, we don't see Odio Way, we don't see the second, we don't see the fifth. We all are here. If something happen here, it will be very difficult to go and report that Benin. If Odio Way want to do Odio, it will do that Benin, not here again. Anything we are doing here, nothing. Ogwedio, since more than 5 years, no festival. We have Ovia here, no festival.
As Nigerians continue to battle with the discriminatory prices of the premium motor spirit, otherwise known as petrol, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has been advised to provide full information on fuel importation and alleged subsidy payment. The leadership of the concerned citizens of Nigeria, while addressing a news conference in Abuja, condemned the continued importation of fuel while Dangote Refinery is producing and exporting refined petroleum. The Group National Coordinator, Okwa Dan, questioned why NNPCL plans to import 1 million tons of fuel in February despite local refining capacity, calling on the Group Chief Executive Officer of the company, Melekari, to provide full transparency on fuel importation and alleged subsidy payment despite the recent fixing of local refineries. Emphasized that the time for deception and economic waste is over, calling on President Tinubu to act decisively and full importation, support local refining and protect Nigeria's economic interests.
We, the concerned citizens of Nigeria, call on Mr. President to immediately review the management of NNPCL and appoint individuals with the integrity and competence needed to put Nigeria's oil sector back on the right track. Given the seriousness of this issue, we make the following urgent demands. First, there must be an immediate halt to unnecessary fuel importation. Nigeria must stop importing fuel when Dangote Refinery is fully operational.
As political intrigues continue to unfold in Nigeria, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has been advised to reopen and investigate all pending corruption petitions against Rotimi Amici from his tenure as Governor of Rivers State and as a minister. A coalition of concerned Democrats at a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday issued a 72-hour ultimatum on the anti-graft agency to disclose its findings and initiate legal action if wrongdoings is established. The convener of the coalition, Indubisu Nwogo, warned that failure to act within the deadline would lead to mass protest at the AFCC headquarters until justice is served, adding that political manipulation should no longer be a shield against accountability. The coalition condemned what it described as Amici's attempt to incite unrest, warning other politicians against using desperation to destabilize the country. It asserted that Nigeria has moved past an era where political losers could create chaos for personal gain and urged citizens to reject such incitement.
We hereby issue a 72-hour ultimatum to the Economic and Financial Crime Commission, EFCC, to 1. Reopen and investigate all pending corruption petitions against Rotimi Amici from his time as Governor of Rivers State and as Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. 2. Provide Nigerians with full disclosure of its findings. 3. Take appropriate legal action to ensure that he is held accountable for his wrongdoing. Failure to act within the stipulated time will leave us with no option but to mobilize in mass and occupy the EFCC headquarters in Abuja until justice is served.
And now we'll move over to the foreign desk for more news.
This is news from the international scene. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is set to become the first foreign leader to meet President Donald Trump at the White House in his second term on Tuesday at a critical juncture for the Gaza ceasefire. After Netanyahu's arrival in Washington, the Israeli ambassador to the U.S., Yishia Leiter, who took up his post 1 week ago, described this as an historic visit on X. The U.S.-Israel friendship is strong and is getting stronger, added. Trump has claimed credit for sealing the initial 6-week ceasefire deal, halting 15 months of war between Israel and Hamas. So far, this has led to 13 Israelis and 5 Thai hostages being freed and 583 Palestinian prisoners released in exchange. However, Netanyahu, facing the struggle for his political survival, has repeatedly stated that the existing Gaza deal is for temporary ceasefire and that Israel has reserved the right to return to fighting against Hamas, saying this would have U.S. backing. Already, one of the veteran Israeli PM's far-right allies has quit his coalition over what he described as a reckless deal. Another has threatened to leave if the military offensive does not resume. If he left, the government would lose its majority. Hundreds of thousands of displaced Palestinians have been allowed to return to their home areas in northern Gaza. Beijing has made this decision after days of warning of countermeasures and urging Washington to enter negotiations and meet China halfway. It has decided to hit back, or at least threaten to retaliate with its own tariff. China said it would implement a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied natural gas products, as well as 10% tariff on crude oil, agricultural machinery and large engine cars imported from the U.S. from 10 February. The date is important. It means there is still time for the world's two largest economies to step back from the brink of a trade war. The two have scheduled a call later this week, according to the White House, and there are signs that despite the announcement, China is in listening mood and is keeping the door open for talks. Firstly, China's countermeasures are limited in scope compared to Donald Trump's levy of 10% on all Chinese goods heading to the U.S. America is the biggest exporter of liquefied natural gas across the world, but China accounts for only around 2.3% of those exports, and its major carry imports are from Europe and Japan. This calculated and selective targeting of goods may just be an opening shot by Beijing, a way of gaining some bargaining power and leverage ahead of any talks. El Salvador has offered to take in criminals deported from the U.S., including those with U.S. citizenship, and house them in its mega jail. The deal was announced after U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele during his visit to the Central American nation. Bukele, whose iron fist approach to gangs has won plaudits from voters but been heavily criticized by human rights groups, said he had offered the U.S. the opportunity to outsource part of its prison system. Rubio said the U.S. was profoundly grateful to Bukele, adding that no country ever made enough for friendship such as this. Rubio told reporters he had offered to house in his jails dangerous American criminals in custody in their countries, including those with U.S. citizenship and legal residency. Referring to two of the region's most notorious transnational crime gangs, Rubio added that El Salvador would also take in deported migrants and criminals from any nationality, be the MS-13 or Tren de Aragua. Bukele later confirmed the offer on X, specifying that they are willing to take in only convicted criminals, including convicted U.S. citizens, into their mega prison in exchange for a fee. He added that the fee would be relatively low for the U.S. but significant for them, making their entire prison sustainable. Still on the international scene, at least 5 people have been shot at a school in the city of Örebro, central Sweden. According to local police, Swedish police said an operation is ongoing at the school, warning of a suspected serious crime of violence in a statement on Tuesday. The public has been urged to stay away from the area and stay indoors, the police statement said. It isn't how many people have been injured. Students are being transferred from schools next to the site of the shooting, police added. The danger is not over, the police statement said. The public must continue to stay away. A second woman is confirmed to have died in floodings, which has inflicted incredible devastation in communities in northern Australia. Police said the 82-year-old woman's body was found in a cane paddock in Queensland on Tuesday, 2 days after a 63-year-old woman died when a dinghy she was in overturned during a rescue attempt. The region has been inundated since Saturday, with part of northern Queensland seeing nearly 2 meters of rain. By Tuesday, conditions were starting to ease, although Queensland Premier warned it was still a disaster that's going to test the resolve of the people. During an interview with broadcaster ABC, it described the devastation as incredible, but noted weather conditions had been really kind in recent hours. Thousands have begun to return to their homes. In Townsville, locals woke up on Tuesday to grey skies and drizzle, and news that predicted flooding levels had not materialized there. It was a stark of contrast to the intense downpour that have battered the region over the past few days. The belief that the danger is past, Townsville Local Disaster Management Group Chair Andrew Robin told reporters. Lastly, on the international scene, thousands of residents are fleeing the Greek island of Santorini amid a wave of seismic activity. Some 6,000 people have left the island by ferry since Sunday, according to local media, with emergency flights scheduled to leave on Tuesday. More than 300 earthquakes have been recorded in the past 48 hours near the island, and some experts say tremor may continue for weeks. Authorities have closed schools for the entire week and warned against large indoor gathering, but Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis is urged calm. Santorini is a popular tourist destination known for its whitewashed buildings, but most of those living are locals, as February is outside the peak tourist season. Several tremors measuring up to magnitude 4.7 were recorded northeast of Santorini early on Tuesday. Although no major damage has been reported so far, emergency measures are being taken as a precaution. Hundreds of people queued at the port in the early hours of Tuesday morning to board the ferry leaving for the mainland. Everything is closed, no one works now. The whole island is emptied, an 18-year-old local resident to the newsman before boarding the vessel. In addition, 6,000 people who have left the island by ferry since Sunday, around 2,500 to 2,700 passengers will have flown from Santorini to Athens via plane on Monday and Tuesday, according to Asian Airlines. And that's it from the international.
And that's all we have on Galaxy Primetime News. Thank you so much for being